today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to talk to you about the best ways that I believe you can bring 100 customers in the door in 100 days. Of course, customers and cash flow are the lifeblood that keeps our businesses going, that sustains us. And so it's really important to be constantly thinking about ways in which you can continually bring customers in, not just bring them in, at the start of the year or during a sales period or during a launch, but continually working on our brand awareness and working on ways in which to bring our customers in. So I'm excited that you're here today with me. So welcome. I want to acknowledge that I have created this presentation. I'm delivering this presentation. This presentation is being recorded on Biripi land, and I pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. So tell me, how are you feeling? Are you a semi-successful business owner, but still working your butt off in your business to keep the wheels turning, to keep everything going? Are you trying your best to juggle your business and also your family, connecting with your children, maintaining your relationship with your partner and your family and your friends, and getting all your commitments when it comes to community fulfilled each and every week? Are you spending all of your time working, being busy, but not necessarily moving the business forward? And are you trying to be everything to everybody in your business at home and with your customers? And no judgment if you relate to any or all of these, because this is very much a position that I was in my business before I started to think really strategically about how I was going to move forward. And I have to tell you the truth, like full transparency, there are times where I feel like I am one or all of these things even now, even though I know what I should be doing. I know what I can be doing. The doing of the doing is a whole other thing. So today we're going to be talking about not just creating, giving you knowledge, giving you education around different areas of your business, but hopefully giving you the opportunity to make a plan, to make change in your business or in your life, to be able to fulfill the dreams and the hopes that you have, that you signed up for as part of this entrepreneurial dream of yours. Because so many of us get into business because we have a passion. We get into business because we want to be able to share that passion with others. We don't necessarily get into business because we want to be the one cleaning the toilets or reconciling the accounts or doing the invoices. But ultimately, as the leaders in our business, everything comes back to us. So today we're going to talk about ways in which you can hopefully delegate some things, hopefully bring some new customers in the door, and hopefully get yourself set up into a position where you have freedom for your lifestyle and your time and energy. So bringing in more customers will ultimately give you more income, but really what we're talking about is freedom, and what you want in your small business is freedom. So freedom to be able to spend your money, your hard-earned money that comes in the door, that you are going to work so hard for to get those customers in the door. It's about giving those customers and the income that they generate, giving that income the opportunity to create freedom for you and for your family, freedom to be able to choose the ways in which you're going to show up in your business. So I'm hoping that by the time we get to the end of this, you'll have a better idea of what you want that freedom to be for you and for your business. So we're going to talk through all of the things you can do in the next 100 days to bring you 100 new customers. And then we're going to check up. The 100-day mark happens a little bit further, obviously, down the track in June. And so we're going to follow up with you when we get to that, in the hope that you have been able to make some inroads. And we also thought about putting some prizes together for people who actually hit that 100 mark. So this is your call to arms, everybody. This is where I want you to really be able to step up and make the rubber hit the road and really start to implement some of these things. All right, so let's get stuck in. Let's get clear on your target market. And we talk about this a lot as part of our Thrive program, because it's no use putting money into advertising. It's no use doing 400 social media posts and making reels and showing up all the time, going to networking events, really getting out there in your business if you actually don't know exactly who you are selling to. So understanding your target market is really, really important. So you want to know the who when it comes to your business. You want to know who it is that you're talking to. Who is it that's your primary person that you want to step inside your door or to click onto your website? And that's not to say that you don't want anyone and everybody to come and buy from you. Sure, that would be great. But your target customer is really that person that you are targeting all of your messaging and your marketing to. So it's really important that you have that distinction. If you sell a product that could be bought by everyone, sure, that's awesome. But you want to pick who you think is going to be spending the most money with you and who is going to be that repeat customer that's going to keep coming back. And that's going to be a person of a specific age, of a specific demographic in a specific area. And you want to make sure that when you're putting together your social content, when you're putting together your marketing, that you're really talking to that person specifically. When it comes to your target market, you want to know what you want to be able to ask yourself, what is it that they like? What is it that they want? What is it that they are trying to achieve? What problems do they have that you're trying to solve, or that your product or service can step in and solve? Because that's really important too. And then how can you get to them? How can you reach them where they're at? Of course, we don't want to develop marketing, and I talk about this all the time with my coaching clients. You don't want to develop marketing that is really great, but that is in a place where no one is at, and you have to drag your customers along to be able to see it. And I think about it like a billboard. Like, you could put a billboard up as you're heading out of town, on, the side of the road in a small country town. But if that country town doesn't have people driving past that sign and ideal customers of yours, then that's a complete waste of money in terms of profiling. So you want to make sure that whatever you're creating for your business, whether it be brand awareness, whether it be specific ads, whether it be just be messaging and marketing, you want to meet people where they're at. So how can we get to our ideal customers? How can we reach them where they are at to make it super easy for them to just go, oh yes, great. Yeah, that looks like something that I need. I'm going to get stuck straight in. So whilst I'm talking, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, and let's make some notes. Who is your target audience? Who are the people that you are trying to aim your business towards? Who are those people who are really going to resonate with the problem that you're solving? And what is that problem? What are your target audience's problems, pain points, concerns, gripes? What are the things that they're whinging about when it comes to, when they're standing around at school pickup, when they're at the barbecue on Saturday afternoon? What are they complaining about to their friends? What are they texting their girlfriends about at 9:30 at night? What are the problems that they need solving in their world? Or perhaps they're not problems, perhaps they're not external problems, perhaps they're psychological problems, and that they are like, they go a level deeper. And so they're not things that they're texting their girlfriends about, but perhaps they're the things that keep them awake at 4 a.m. worrying about. How can you solve those problems? Because that's where the gold is. That's where the big money is. So thinking about your target audience, thinking about their problems and their pain points. And even if you just have to guess at this stage, I'd love you to get out there and do some research. Reach out to people who you think are in your target demographic, reach out to people who have bought from you before and ask them some really pointed questions. But if you just have to guess for now, that's totally fine. Where do your people hang out online? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they spending all their time on TikTok? Are they still scrolling Instagram? Where are your people, and how can you go to where they're at? How can you help them solve their problems? Again, your main what you need to be thinking about in terms of your main idea behind your product or service is, okay, what problem am I solving? And how can I really let my target market know that I have the solution to their problem, that I am the guide that they've been looking for? And now I want you to think about, okay, how much time do I have to dedicate to generating new customers? So launching into this, I don't want you to kind of think to yourself, okay, well, I want 100 customers in 100 days, but I have no time to implement anything new or to change anything in my business or to do anything different. It's going to be a hard push. It's going to be a hard sell. If you're committing to 100 customers in 100 days, and whether you're watching the catch up on replay or whether you're here with us live tonight, it's really important that you have an understanding of what time you have to dedicate to this task and how you're going to be able to really step in to this new hot seat and step into this challenge to be able to generate some new customers. So even if you just say at this particular point in time, it's going to be 10 minutes, maybe it's the first 10 minutes of your day on a Friday, perhaps it's the last 10 minutes of your day on a Monday. If you just have to start with 10 minutes, that's totally fine. But if you can put a bit more time aside, whatever you put into it, you're going to get out of it. So if you can put more time, and perhaps that is the time that you would normally spend scrolling Instagram, or that's the time that you would normally sleep in an extra 30 minutes. Perhaps you want to be able to grab that time and really make the most of it. And just for the next 100 days, it's not forever. Not saying that you have to get up at the crack of dawn every morning from now into forever. It's just for now. And that's a really good way to think about it. Only for now is a sentence that I carry with me when times are good and when times are bad. It's only for now that I've got to get up early for 100 days and soon it will be over. But also when stuff is hard and when stuff is bad, I go, this is only for now. And, you know, a new season will come. And finally, how many new customers will you need to generate the income that you need to hit your financial goals? Because 100 customers all coming in and buying your $2 product might not get you to where you want to get to when it comes to reaching your financial goals. So I want you to have a think about, what is it that you're aiming for? What is it that you want to achieve? What is that income amount that you want to bring in between now and the end of the financial year? And that's the great thing about doing this at this time of year. Not only are we revving up to the middle of the year with 100 days, but it is the end of a financial year. It's a great time to set new goals. And it's a great time to be able to do a last minute push on those goals that we had perhaps at the start of the year or at the start of the financial year. So I hope you've got some notes in front of you. I hope you've really thought about who it is that you're going to be pointing all of your messaging and marketing to, the problems that you're going to solve, and how you're going to do it, because you will generate new customers in the door if you start speaking to your target audience. You will generate more income if you start telling people how you're going to solve their problem, giving them the solution that they need to the issue that they're facing. And if you can do that in your messaging, then you're sure to be able to bring in more customers. Speaking of messaging, getting clear on your messaging is so incredibly important. And as I said in the beginning, it's really a waste of time if you're out there in the marketplace, just posting for the sake of posting because you think you should, being on different platforms because you think you should be on all the things and doing all the things. But I want to encourage you instead to get really clear on your messaging, really kind of hone in on what it is that you want to say, why it is that you want to say it, and how can you get that into a succinct, repeatable form that you can get out through all of the different channels that you want to be on where your customers are hanging out, so that you can make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, so that you can make sure that you're really bringing the right people into your business and not just attracting people just for the sake of it. So whilst I'm talking, grab your phone, go for a little scroll back through your stories, go for a scroll back through whatever content that you've created. Perhaps it's your newsletter, perhaps it's your blog posts, perhaps it's your Instagram, and have a look and answer the question. Are you talking about yourself in the posting that you're doing? Are you talking about your customer's problem when it comes to your marketing? Because as we talked about before, you've got to be talking to your target market, but you can't just be saying, look at us, look how fabulous we are, look at what we're doing. And I mean, it's okay to do one of those every now and then. I did one yesterday. It's okay to sprinkle those in. It's important to be able to build relationship and get people to know, like, and trust you. But really, the question that I'm asking is, how often are you really speaking to the problem that your customers are facing? And how often are you pitching yourself as the solution? So if you're watching the replay, perhaps you're here live tonight, you want to go back through that list and have a look. What does it look like from your perspective? Is it something that you are happy to put your hand up and tell me all about? Or is it something that you're like, oh, yeah, can't really find any examples of what I should be looking for? And no judgment, wherever you're at. No judgment, because this is a learning curve, right? Business is a learning curve. None of us are getting it right all of the time. So if you're here to learn, then this is a great place to start. So I really want you to think about the ways in which you can really bring in the problems that your customers are having, the feelings that they have around that problem, the things that are driving them crazy, the way in which things are, working out, and see if you can bring that into the marketing that you are going to create from this point forward. See if you can get a few key sentences that are really going to resonate with that target market of yours. Get a few of those, killer sentences that you can use and repeat over and over, that people will go, oh yes, that's me. That's me. And the example that I want to give you is from my dance studio, because it's an easy and very visual example to give you, in that if we do all of our marketing and all we put on our socials is people with their legs up in the air and sparkly costumes and big trophies, then our target customer, who are mums who want to put their 4-year-old in dance, look at that and think, oh gosh, my daughter could never do that, or my son could never do that. Whereas instead, what we should be putting out there and what we try to put out there are pictures of kids that look like our customers' kids. So kids that aren't perfect, they don't have the polished bun, they don't have the polished everything. They are a little bit messy and a little bit rough around the edges, because then my target customer can look at that and say, that looks like my kid. This is the place for me. So have a think about what's there currently, do a little bit of an audit of what you've got and what's working, what's not working, and then come up with a plan as to how you're going to make change when it comes to your marketing in the future and really put your customer's problem at the forefront. Number 3, let's revisit your vision and your mission and your values. Now, this is something that we start off with in Thrive, because so many business owners, I'm just going to freeze Tom Cruise there, because that can get really disconcerting to watch him fall from the sky over and over again. Thinking about your mission, vision, and values, we start Thrive with this every year. And that is because it really is the thing that's the glue that holds the whole thing together. If you're not clear on why your business exists, what the problem is you're solving for your customers, why it is that you're important, that you're here, and what your values are within your business, what you stand for and what you don't stand for, then it's really hard to make clear decisions. It's really hard to make consistent decisions. It's really hard to set boundaries. It's really hard business is just hard. You're just making it harder for yourself. So I really want you to take some time and go back and revisit your vision and your mission and your values. Now, this is not an exercise that I want you to do just for yourself. Absolutely not. And this is, I think, where some people fall down when it comes to vision, mission, and values, is they do the exercise, they go through the process, they figure out their whys and their ifs and their their purpose. And then they write it all down, they stick it in a drawer, and then they go, tick, that's done. Very good. Next. When actually, once you've gone through it's like childbirth, getting your vision, mission, and values right. It's like, it grows and it changes and it's painful. And then at the end you go, ta-da, and it's all worth it. But what you have to do then is you have to go and show this beautiful baby off to the world. You can't just leave it in a drawer just to go, oh, okay, I've done that. Because your vision and mission and values really speak to the business that you're creating. They speak to your target customers, and they speak to exactly what it is that you're building and why you're building it. And people buy from people. So people want to understand what the point is. They want to know more. They want to really be able to get their teeth stuck into it and get behind a brand. You've seen how dedicated people are to Apple as a brand, lining up outside their store for hours and hours. You've seen how dedicated people are to sneakers. I know my husband is like just a sneaker freak and is online all the time bidding on special edition these and special edition that. I should know the names of them, shouldn't I? Yeezys, that's a thing. So there are brands that people really get behind, and the reason they get behind them is not just because they like the color. It's not just because they like the logo. It's because they like what the company stands for. Apple's all about innovation. People who want to be on the forefront, who want the latest, greatest, next thing. That's why the people line up around the building. People who want the fantastic, fabulous, fancy sneakers, they buy into that brand. They buy into the status that comes with those sneakers, that comes with, being able to unbox that very special experience that you have with a pair of sneakers. So what is it about your business that is going to make people line up, that's going to make people pay all the money, that's going to make people stay and return and spend more money with you and be there for a lifetime? And I guarantee you it all comes down to your vision, your mission, and your values. It's not one word, and I can't put it all together. So I really want you to think about what it is that makes you different, what it is that makes you you, and most importantly, how are you communicating this to the world? Because it's one thing to write it down and put it in a drawer, but actually what you need to be doing with it is shouting it from the rooftops. So writing notes while I'm talking, what is it that you stand for? And people always ask me when we're doing these kind of exercises, well, is it me or is it my business? And it can be both. And the two can merge together, or the two can be completely separate. But for the purpose of this, it should be about your business. And it's okay if the values that you have in your business are actually values that reflect you. It's often the case. So what does your business stand for? What is it that you want to be known for? Why is it important that you do what you do? Why does your website exist? Why does your shop front exist? Who are you serving? Who are the community of people that you are there for? What makes you different? And this is going to make people keep coming back. This is the thing that's going to make people go, oh, yes, I'm going to be loyal to you. I'm going to be loyal to that brand, is because of the things that make them different. So what is it that makes you different? And how can you communicate that? Not just with your target market, but with everybody. How can you really communicate what makes you stand out? Because I'm sure for everyone who's watching the replay and everybody who's here on the live call, you all have businesses that exist in other places. It's very rarely that I'm coaching any group coaching where where someone can put their hand up and say, you know, I've got one Fandangle thing and I'm the only one in the world that does it. A lot of us have competitors. Some of us have competitors up the street. Some of us have competitors in the same building. What makes you different? It's no use just saying the same thing that they're saying, because then people look and go, well, I don't know, I'll go wherever's cheapest. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What is it that is special about you? And why would I buy from you and not the person up the road? Why would I buy from you and not your competitor? And it has to be about more than price. And if you can nail the vision, mission, and values, if you can get that right, then you don't have to argue on price. You don't have to have those awkward conversations. You don't have to have that awkward moment where you're going, how much am I going to charge? Is this going to be enough of a markup? Am I going to make a profit from this? And most importantly, you don't have to be slogging, 24/7 to get your business running and not seeing the payoff for that. So if you haven't revisited your vision, mission, and values in the last little while, or perhaps you haven't written them at all, great, perfect place to start. Either go back and have a look, or sit down and spend 2-3 hours, take yourself to a coffee shop, make it nice, like really do it up. Because if you're just doing it at your desk, you're going to put it off. You'll go and clean the toilet before you'll sit down and write your vision, mission, and values, guaranteed. So make it nice, make it rewarding. Have something at the end, an incentive that's going to motivate you to get it done. And then most importantly, come up with a plan as to how you're going to communicate that to your people, how you're going to tell people about it, how you're going to put it out there. We have our values on the wall inside the studio. So they're inside the studio walls, but they're also inside the foyer. When I have somebody come in, they ask me to make a decision that doesn't align with our values, something that's outside of the square, something that I don't feel comfortable with, but they're kind of a bit pushy and they're in my foyer and they're in my face. I can point to the wall and say, well, actually, what you're asking doesn't align with my values. And it's right here. And it's right here. So I don't have to think, what are my values again? Where do I write that down? What's that thing? Like it's just there. So we communicate it in several ways. It's at the bottom of our newsletter every single week. It's on the wall. When you walk into the foyer, it's in the wall. When you walk into the studio, it's great to have in the studio because the kids, when they're acting not in alignment with our values, we can easily say, is that about this? Works every time. And so that's how we communicate it. We also have social media posts that we schedule. They're the same posts. We don't change them up. They're in our brand colors. They talk about our mission, our vision, and our values. They're all separate ones and they get scheduled out across the month. Every now and then I see them and I go, oh, that's good. Yeah, getting it out there. So I want you to revisit your vision and your mission and your values. I want you to communicate it. If you are posting it on social media, I want you to tag me. I'd love to see it. Please let me know and get it out there to your customers, most importantly. All right. How can we circle back? Circling back to our customers is going to be hands down the quickest way to get your 100 customers in 100 days. And I can just freeze her for a second before I lose my mind looking at her repeating herself over and over. So circling back to your customers, what does it mean? We often have people that make contact with us. We often have people who send an inquiry, they send, they fill out a form, they do a quiz, they download a free PDF, they make contact with us. And as soon as those people get in touch with us, then the ball is in our court. And even if they just get in touch once, perhaps they comment on one of our social posts, boom, there we go. Relationship. Here we go. So how do we circle back to our customers? Means how do we keep in touch with all of those people that have been part of our circle, part of our journey, part of our ecosystem? Because if they have reached out, if they've made the first move, then it's up to us to be able to nurture that relationship. And so much of business is relationship building. So much of getting new customers in the door and keeping them coming back for more is about relationship building. So get really comfortable with being able to seek these people out with being able to make contact, with being able to reach out and really communicate, because that's where you're going to get a lot of payback. So I want you to think about how you touch base with people who almost bought from you but didn't, because this is where your new customers are going to come from. So are there people that have commented on your social posts? Are there people who have sent you DMs? Are there people who have messaged you? Are there people who have made contact? Now, they may not have done anything except sent an emoji or that looks great or wow, congrats, guys. Still, they've made the first move. It's up to us to then reach out. Because so many of us have these people in our business who have perhaps asked for a quote, perhaps they've come, into the store and had a look around. If we're not capturing their details and keeping those connections alive, then that is money that is walking out the door. So I want you to think about what systems you have in place in your business to be able to touch base with people who almost bought from you but didn't. So in the example of my dance studio, and I'll keep it consistent throughout and keep coming back to that, we're a service-based business, and quite often people will send us an email and they will say, how much are dance classes for an 8-year-old? If we go back and say they're $12 and then that's the end of the relationship, shame on us. Because the next step in getting to know that customer and getting to understand what their problem is where we're actually going to be able to do our best work. So for so many of us, we don't necessarily get the email address on that very first point of contact. And so it takes a little bit of nurturing. If somebody's commenting on your posts on social media, reaching into their DMs and saying, hey, thanks for that. Thanks for following. Tell me about your business, or tell me about, why this interested you, or tell me about what this post really meant to you. Then we can start building relationship and going back and forth. And then we might be able to find out more about that customer. We might be able to figure out how we can help them. And then we might be able to lead them into a funnel where they're going to eventually be able to spend money with us. But if we just say the dance class is $12 and then we never contact them again, we don't ask any follow-up, we don't circle back, money walking out the door. So if you don't currently have a system, that's okay. Again, no judgment. Now's the perfect time to get one. So if people call your shop on the phone, what's the first thing we need to know from them? Their email address. We cannot have people calling up where we don't get their contact details. That's just like the annoying thing that happens every time you walk into any chain store and they say, can I have your email? And you go, do I have to? I just want to buy this hat. But they're giving themselves the ability to circle back with us, and it's very smart. So as annoying as it is from a customer's perspective, it's the common thing. It's the done thing now. So don't feel bad. Don't feel like you can't do that. But you have to have a system in place. So if you're just the only person that's doing that point, like face-to-face contact, and you're not asking for the sale, you're not asking for the email address, then the rest of your team's not going to do it either. So there needs to be a system in place. Perhaps there needs to be a checklist. Every customer that comes to buy from us, we need to ask them da. Every time the phone rings and we pick it up and we get, information, we answer questions, we must get their email address and their child's name. Then we've got something to be able to go back to them with. But again, that has to be systemized. So how can you create a system within your business that everybody on your team understands, that you understand, and that you follow through yourself? Because I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of creating the system and saying, this is what we'll do. And then going, hello, Port Macquarie Performing Arts, having a great chat for 3 minutes and then getting off the phone. And my team will say, did you get their email address? And I'll go, with me not following the system. There has to be a system in place and people have to be doing it and following it. And that circle back system is really, really important for those people who reached out and made contact with you. You want to be able to convert them into customers. But what about the people who did buy from you? How often do we have people that come in, they buy something, perhaps they buy it online, and then that's it. Thanks for buying. Thanks for purchasing. See you next time. Will there be a next time? Who knows? The nurturing of those customers once they've been in the door, once they've made contact with you, and if they've already spent money with you, it's highly likely they're going to be able to do it again. Highly likely that they're going to choose to do it again. So what systems do you have in place that are going to make sure that you have follow-up for these people who are spending money with you? Because they're your people. They've come in, they've already given you money. They'll give you money again if you give them reason to. But if they don't know what else you sell, if they don't know what other services that you can provide, if they don't know what other problems you are solving, they have no idea. So of course they're not going to come back because they think I've been there, I've got what I needed. So this nurturing piece is really important. And I mentioned before that we have our mission, vision, and values at the bottom of our newsletter. We have a newsletter that goes out to our current customers, so people who are enrolled with us and spending money all the time. But we also have a whole other database that's made up of anyone who's ever made contact with us. So anyone who's ever bought a ticket to a show, anyone who's ever walked in the door, anyone who's ever rung up on the phone. We have this, everybody list that everybody's on. And as part of that everybody list, we have a strategy for nurturing. We have a strategy for follow-up, because those people who did have a child dancing with us, perhaps, 12 years ago, they had a person that was dancing with us. Perhaps that child has gone and grown up and then gone and had a baby of their own, and they want to bring that baby to dance class. How are they going to remember us? Well, if they hear from us every now and then, they go, oh, that's right. I loved dancing when I was that age, so maybe I can get my little girl into dancing. So I want you to have a system in place to make sure that you're doing that follow-up, to make sure you are circling back with those red hot leads, those people who are happy to pay money and who have already paid money. I want that nurturing sequence to be a reminder for them. Hey, you loved this. Perhaps you'd also love that. Nothing gets me better than when I'm buying something online and they say, we think you'd also like this. Yes, I would. Absolutely. We can be doing that as well, even in our small business. It doesn't have to be automated. This can be something you do yourself if people are spending a lot of money and you're selling big ticket items, or you can automate it if it's smaller things that they're buying. You can understand, and you will understand your target customer and the things that they're going to like, and you can put something together that is going to give them that nurturing that they're after, give them that reminder that they're after, but then also lead them down a path that's going to give them something that's going to solve a different problem that they have, which are only going to make them more loyal to your brand, only going to make them more keen to spend money with you again. So don't think it's salesy and sleazy and icky. It's not. You're reaching out, you're helping solve that problem, and they're going to be really grateful for it. But again, you've got to have a system. What's the system going to be to make sure that you're going to be able to touch base and circle back to those people who have spent money? And how do you stay in touch with those people who bought from you a long time ago? I talked about the customer that, sent their child to dance, and now that child's had another baby and they're going to bring the baby to dance. But perhaps you have customers, perhaps a long time in your business is a couple of weeks or a couple of months or perhaps just a year. How are you reaching back to those people? I work with a lot of photographers. We've had a photographer every year that we've done Thrive so far. And photographers have this awesome opportunity to be able to hit milestones in the lives of their customers. So many people will only seek out a photographer when they're getting married. That'll be their first point of contact with a photographer. Oh my gosh, I'm getting married. Someone better get a photo of me in the big dress. Who am I going to get? And they reach out and they find a photographer that they like. The thing is, you have your wedding, and then time goes by, and then there's this awesome opportunity to be able to stay in touch with those people whose wedding photos you did and say, hey, what's going on in your life now? Oh, we just had a baby. Would you like me to take some photos of the baby? Oh, we've just moved into a new house. Great. Would you like me to capture that moment? Oh, we've got, celebrating our first Christmas, with our new rellies who have just moved to town. Would you like me to capture that? the ability to circle back with those customers who bought from you a really long time ago, especially if they had a great experience with you. Perhaps they don't know what else you can offer. Perhaps they don't know that, like in the example of the photographer, perhaps they don't know that you do newborn photo shoots or maternity photo shoots or, end of life photo shoots or any of those big milestones that happen in people's lives. And if they don't know that you offer that, then of course they're not going to pick up the phone and say, by the way, they might, but the chances are pretty slim. So if you already have their details, if they've already bought from you, and even if it was a long time ago, I want you to have a system in place to be able to circle back to those people. And if whilst I'm saying this, you are thinking, oh, what about, and somebody's come to your mind, somebody who spent money with you, somebody who, perhaps you've forgotten about, reach out to them. You can do it now whilst you're watching, or you can put it on your list to do tomorrow. But reach back to those people. And if you don't remember and you think, oh, it was too long ago, I can't remember who purchased from me in 2012. You'll have it somewhere. Go and find the folder. We went through the folders yesterday, actually, at the dance studio. Everything was paper. Everything was in a blue folder. It's all in alphabetical order. Everything's there when we need to find it. Perhaps yours isn't that organized, and that's okay. Go and find the shoebox and of those pieces of paper, those receipts, and go and find it. Find those people, find their contact details, reach out, get to know them, explain to them what you're doing now, how your product has evolved, how your service has evolved, how you can help them now. And they'll continue to come back through your door as brand new customers. And that's exciting. I like the idea of that. Create better content. We're all exhausted creating content, right? We all know we should be doing more. We all know we should be posting. We all know we should be writing blogs. We all know that we should be putting more out there, letting people know what we do, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. So in order to get 100 customers in 100 days, we're going to need to create better content. And that doesn't mean necessarily more. It just means we need to go up a notch when it comes to the content that we are creating. And so here's a couple of easy ways to do that. Firstly, book yourself a photo shoot with a professional or do DIY. Get your best 3 outfits, get your camera, go to Kmart and get yourself a $5, what's it called? Tripod. Stick it up on the mantle, set your timer and take some photos. Because the biggest challenge that people have when it comes to creating content and putting stuff out there is that they just don't know what to post. They just don't know how to put it all together and what it should. If you've got a good set of photos, half the work is done for you. More than half. 3/4 of the work is done for you. So either invest in yourself, invest in your business and, get over yourself and get your hair done if you need to, get your face on, put some lips on and get in front of that camera. Or perhaps it's your products that need good photos. Perhaps it's your building that needs good photos. Perhaps you just need some really good shots of what it is that you do. And as I said, you can do it yourself. The cameras that we have on iPhones these days are crazy. Crazy good, I mean. Or do yourself a favor and invest in a photographer. If you need one, I've got the names for you. But then get it done. And then your content is immediately going to step up. It's immediately going to look better. It's immediately going to look more professional. People are going to immediately want to spend more money with you. You put your prices up at the same time. So you look the part. If you're worried about how you create good content when it comes to being able to show up on your website, when it comes to being able to show up in your socials, brain dump all your knowledge into a voice memo or into a Google document. So you can either voice memo it and then send it off to a transcription service, or you can just sit down in front of a Google document and pump it out. But you are the person that has the most knowledge about your business. You are the person that has the most knowledge about what it is that you do. So you do need to take the time to be able to get all of that out of your head and down onto paper or onto the computer. And if you need help doing that, reach out to people who are good at it. I don't write all of my content. I'm not my copywriter. I go blah, 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 into a voice message, or I create a podcast episode, or I do a training like this. And then I have fabulous people who turn it into a newsletter post and turn it into a blog post and make it look wordy and lovely and add the emojis. That's somebody else. And you can delegate that stuff too. But if you are bootstrapping, then you just need to sit down and do it. And if you find it easier to talk, the voice memo and then the transcription is a perfect way to do it. If you don't know where to start, use ChatGPT or Canva AI. Jump in and ask a question and then there you go. You'll have all the answers you need. You may want to, here's a hint, here's a tip from me. You may want to read through it and check that it makes sense. You may want to check that it's relevant and correct. There are great stories going around the internet at the moment about how AI is really letting people down when it comes to putting content together that's absolute rubbish and doesn't make sense. So double check your work. But you have great tools at your fingertips now to be able to help you create content. And so if you want to be showing up more, if you want to increase your Google results, if you want to be at the top of Google, then you need to be updating your website all the time, and it needs to be with relevant content that are using the keywords that talk to your customer's problem. Get AI to be able to help you out, get a copywriter to help you out, put beautiful images with it that come from a photo shoot that you've really thought about. And if you put 2 or 3 hours aside and you have your tripod and you have your camera and you change outfits and you maybe have your hair down, then have your hair up or whatever you want to do to make it work for you, immediately you're going to be creating better content. Immediately it's going to be looking better. And that's what you want. And then finally, who doesn't want to play around in Canva? Set some time aside. I don't do Canva early in the morning, just so you know. Full disclosure, Canva is a rabbit hole. I can go down it and be lost for hours. All of a sudden it's school pickup time. Whoops. I had a list of 15 things to do today and I didn't do any of them because I was busy tweaking that headline and making this smaller and making that box smaller and making this please. But if you want to create better content, then have a play around in Canva and make yourself a bunch of templates that are on brand for you. And then every month when it's time to create more content, all you have to do is slide the photos in, the photos from your Fandangle fantastic new photo shoot. And then you've got repeatable content that you can just keep putting out there. Great for brand awareness, great for visibility, great for people knowing, liking, and trust you. If the stuff that you put out there looks good, looks professional, looks legit, then people are going to spend money with you. It's a no-brainer. But you got to do the work. And sometimes the work is going and getting your hair done, putting the face on, standing and smiling, even if you hate it. We've got to do what we've got to do. Before we go on any further, I want to tell you about Thrive. I mentioned it a couple of times before because it is Thrive season. We are heading into our Thrive intake for 2023. Very exciting. So Thrive is all about education, accountability, and support. It's about running a successful business and still having a life. It's a group coaching program for women, and we take an intake every year in March. We kick off April 1st, and it's about a like-minded group of women coming together to be able to learn, but also to be able to share challenges, share wins, come together, like share this experience that is entrepreneurship, and for people to understand that, yes, it is hard, but yes, it is worth it. And yes, we can do it if we all do it together. So what is it? It's pretty exclusive. We only take a certain number of people. So it's not ginormous. It's not, a big classroom of people. It's a small group because we want there to be accountability and that we want it to be really tailored to your particular business. So it's a 6-month growth and accountability program for women in business. You get personalized business advice so that you can stop spinning your wheels and second guessing yourself and thinking, should I do this? Should I do that? Where should I spend my time? Where should I spend my money? What should I be doing? We help you with all of that. It's about practical and insightful training every month to help you improve in all aspects of your business, but don't let them every month scare you. It's not a huge time commitment. The time commitment is in yourself, in what you want to bring to the program, how much you want to do, how much you want to implement the things you're learning. And it's ongoing accountability from me and from the other people in the group. They're going to be ready to support and challenge and celebrate you. And I want you to be able to be in a position for you to be able to support yourself and challenge yourself and also celebrate the wins along the way. What you will learn: how to get unstuck and how to grow your business. You'll learn how to grow your revenue, increase your profit margins so that you can get more money in the door so that you can get more freedom and time back. You'll learn how to find balance in your business and your life so that you're not constantly feeling like you're not enough in any of the areas of your life. I know so many of my coaching clients really struggle with that. So many people join Thrive because they just want to get a handle on that, and it's the perfect thing. It's the perfect program for that. And you'll learn practical strategies for increasing your business visibility so you don't have to work so hard. So people know they pick up the phone, they call you. So you get 6 online business training workshops. They are held monthly. You get 6 Ask Me Anything group coaching sessions where we all get on a call and you can talk about how you're implementing the content and what's working and what's not. You can ask questions. You can reach out to other people. You can network. You get 2 individual coaching sessions with me, 1-to-1. You're in the WhatsApp group, so you can reach out at any time. It's kind of like the bat phone. You can just, if you're having an issue, if you're having a good day, you're having a bad day, whatever it is that's going on, you can get straight in the group and get the feedback and get the help that you need. And you also get priority access to the Simply Business Summit in 2024. Can't believe we're talking about 2024. Crazy. If you're in Thrive, you're supported, you're celebrated, and you're empowered to be able to grow your business and be able to do the things in life that you wanted to do in starting your own business. You get that freedom that you wanted. You have the ability to do skill pickup and go to school reading groups and be able to, share the passion that you have for your business with the world. That's what we want for you, and that's what we work towards in Thrive. You can secure your place today with a deposit of $129. You are the first people to hear about it. The site, the sales page went live today because we are heading straight into Thrive season. So if you're watching the replay or if you're here live tonight, it's Thrive season. It's time to kick off. It's a 6-month program. It's made up of 12 installments of $397. But if you pay up front, of course, you save. And as I said, doors are officially opening this week. The places are limited, so don't think, oh, I've got till the end of the month. Doors are open till the end of the month, or we close once we're full. So don't wait. If Thrive is something you've been thinking about, if you've been listening to me talking about it, perhaps you've heard it on the podcast, then secure your place today. Do not wait. Lots of people have been through Thrive and have fabulous things to say. Liz Rapley is one of them. She was good when it came to her business, but she was struggling when it came to her life because she wasn't finding that balance that she was after. She wasn't making time for herself. And so Thrive was the thing that really kind of gave her the motivation to be able to actually put time aside for the things in life that matter to her, like her gorgeous husband, Aiden. And Miss Jessie's on the call tonight, so I'm not going to play Jess. Oh, I am playing Jessie's video. I'll pause you, Jess, just so you don't have to sit through yourself. But the gorgeous Jessie is here as well. Jump in the chat and reach out to Jessie if you want to know more about Thrive, because Jessie was in our Thrive group 2 years ago. Gosh, that's gone fast. And as a bonus, if you secure your place this week, so by the end of this week, you don't necessarily have to buy tonight, but if you do get in before the end of the week, then you'll get a bonus coaching session with me. You'll get 3 instead of 2. So you can sign up now by going to simplystacymorgan.com/thrive. All right. The next thing you need to do to get 100 customers in 100 days is to tell people what to do next. It sounds so simple, but we don't do it. We don't do it enough in business. We need to make sure that we are being really clear when it comes to what happens next. How do I get the sale? How do I go to the next step? So many people engage with our brands online. They come to our website, they see what we do. They go, oh, that's fantastic. And then crickets. We want to tell them what we do next. So it's really important that you get really strong call to actions on all of the touch points in your business, whether it's you putting a billboard up on the side of, as you're heading out of town, or whether it's your website, or whether it's the social stuff you're doing online. If you don't ask for the sale, you'll never get it. So in order to get more customers in the door, please tell people how to buy from you. Click this link, call this number, reach out now for a discovery call. Make it simple. The worst thing that I see from customers is, from clients who come to me is they say, we've got great hits on our website, or we've got great social interaction, but we just never seem to get the sale. And I look through their process, and it's because their process has got 44 steps. You want to make it as simple as possible. Click this number. No, click this number. Dial this number. Click on this link. Go straight through to where you need. If you're collecting their information, perhaps they're just getting a free download. Make it simple. Name, email address, fin. Don't make the very first step that they have to do be they're filling their first name, their middle name, and their last name, their home phone number, their mobile phone number, their blood type. Like, don't make it complicated. Keep it simple. And then tell them exactly how to go to the next step. And that next step sometimes isn't like buy now. Sometimes that next step is we'll send you something for free. We'll pick up the phone and talk to you and answer your questions. Perhaps it's a discovery call, whatever it is in your business that suits your business. You need to be able to ask for the sale. You need to be able to tell them, hey, this is what happens next. Follow the breadcrumbs like they're Hansel and Gretel going through the forest. So I really come up against this all the time. People not working on their strengths, people doing everything in their business. Nod your head if this is you. And it's so common. And we all start there. We all start somewhere. There were days in my business where I was doing absolutely everything, whether I was good at it or not. I was doing my taxes. I was doing my banking. I was doing the reconciling of my accounts. I was cleaning the toilets. I was teaching the classes. I was the person opening the door at the start of the day and closing the door at the end of the day, doing everything, absolutely everything. But if you want to be able to have time to innovate in your business, you want to be able to grow your products, you want to be able to do more, then there are some things you're going to need to outsource. And you can only outsource the things that other people are going to be able to do with your assistance. You can't, so there's some things in your business you just can't outsource. They have to be you. But I want those things to be your strengths. I want those things to be the things that you're good at. And the rest of it, I want you to be able to outsource. And when I say outsource, I'm not necessarily just talking about, going ahead and hiring 5 full-time employees and bringing them in and then training them up in your business and you going bankrupt. You can outsource little bits and pieces. You can get somebody who's studying marketing at university to be your intern. You can pay them a small amount and they can do your social posts for you. You can get a cleaner to come in once a fortnight. Perhaps you do every second week and they do every other week, and that's a little bit more time you're buying back for yourself. You can find somebody who's perhaps a VA who's not inside your building, but somebody who's external who can do those follow-up calls and who can make, bring people onto the next step that happens as part of the customer journey. That doesn't have to be you every single time. So whilst I'm talking, I want you to think about the things in your business that aren't your strengths that you're currently doing. And I want you to make a stop doing list, not a to-do list, a to stop do list. Stop doing that list. I'm not going to do that anymore list. Because I know that there are things in your business that you don't like doing, you're not good at it, and you know that there are people who are good at it and that you could probably pay to do it, and they would do it in half the amount of time, which would mean actually you're saving money. Spending money on resources frees up time and energy. So many people say, I can't outsource that because I can't spend money on other people. But actually, investing in other people, investing in somebody else to do your books or somebody else to do your cleaning or somebody else to teach your classes or whatever it is that you're doing, frees up time for you and, most importantly, energy for you to be able to innovate and create new products or services in your business, which is going to bring more customers in the door, which is going to generate more revenue. And before you know it, we're on a roll. So it's really important that you think about that time and energy and how important that time and energy is for you and how you can invest that money into places that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. And when I mean bang for your buck, I mean give you the most time and energy to be able to go and use for good in your business. And finally, you've got to spend money to make money. And this is my dad's advice. And he's told me several things in business that have just stuck with me and were so true. At the time, I was like, oh, really, Dad? But it's come through every time. So spending money on marketing is part of business. Organic reach will only get you so far. If you were starting your business in 2010 and you were one of the first people on Facebook and you were, getting those likes up and you were, pumping out content on your page, then you probably did really well with organic reach in those early days. And you probably despise spending money on Facebook now, but unfortunately, pay to play is the way that it goes. So you need to now think about, okay, I need to do organic reach. I need to put organic posts out there because the algorithm likes it when I create content and where people get to see it organically. So I need to be showing up. I need to be doing live videos. I need to be doing reels. I need to be doing posts. I need to be doing stories. I need to be on video content on LinkedIn and photos on LinkedIn and videos on TikTok and whatever the algorithm in your chosen social media is asking you to do, you need to be showing up in that way. But when it comes to spending money, don't think that you just do all of that and that will be fine. You'll get shown to new audiences. Yes, you will, but it'll be this many in comparison to what you can do if you spend a bit of money. So decide on what your goals are, decide on what your budget is, figure out how much money you want to spend and figure out how many people you want to bring in to a certain launch that you're doing, how many people you want to buy a certain product or to show up to a certain event, and then pay to play. And the best way to do that is to be able to pair that paying to play with some great organic content at the same time. And you're going to see that from me in the next 3 weeks. You're going to be sick of me, absolutely sick of hearing from me, because we're going into the Thrive launch and because that's what I'm going to be doing. Yes, I'll be spending money and there'll be money out there and there'll be ads going. And if you happen to see one, then very nice. But at the same time, I'm going to be really working hard on showing up in my stories. I'm going to be going live on Instagram because that's where my customers are. I'm going to be making sure that I'm doing consistent posting. And then I'm going to be, grabbing trending audio and doing reels where I can, because the more that I show up, the more the algorithm is going to say, oh, and she's also spending money with us. So I'm going to boost whatever I can. And in this period of time for me and my business, that's really important. So have a think about your goals and when it's important for your business to be able to really step up and use that money wisely. You don't necessarily want to be paying to play every month, but when it's important and when you know it's important and it's based around your goals, then you want to be able to have the funds there to be able to really jump in the arena and get the most out of it for you and for your business. So what will you start with today as we wrap up? Where are you going to go to from here? What are going to be the things that are really going to help you bring those 100 customers in 100 days? And I know I've given you so much. Do not try and do it all. Do not look back at your notes and go, right, tomorrow I'm going to do all these things. No, pace yourself. Spread it out. Perhaps this week you're going to focus on your messaging. Perhaps next week you're going to get your photo shoot sorted. Perhaps the week after you're then going to sit down and make sure you've got call to actions, on all the touch points in your business. Do it step at a time, but put that time aside to make sure that you're actually going to get to it. Because if you don't put the time aside, you know what happens? Life happens, right? And the time runs away from us. I know exactly how that feels. So one step at a time. If you want a bit of more support from us, you can join us in our free Facebook group. It's How to Run a Successful Business and Still Have a Life. We are there talking all things business. Come and hang out with us. If you want to listen to my podcast, it's How to Run a Successful Business and Still Have a Life. You see the theme here. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. You can, of course, still sign up to Thrive at simplystacymorgan.com/thrive. I would love you to come and join us this year for our Thrive intake. Now over to you for any questions that you might have. And for those of you watching the replay, thank you so much for being here. And I really look forward to answering your questions via DM or via email. Please reach out to me if any of these things kind of brought up thoughts for you. If any of these things brought up, oh, I don't quite know how this fits in with my business, please reach out. I would love to be able to help you.